know a shrimp's heart is in its head?
What? That is crazy, and I did not know that. But welcome back to Axoschools. We are starting a new series on digestion today, and we're going to go over all the ins and outs of the process.
Digestion is how your body turns the food you eat, yes, you, into nutrients it uses for energy, growth, and cell repair.
The digestive tract in your body is a long twisting tube that starts at your mouth and ends at your anus. No, not the planets. I really mean your booty.
Imagine this.
Ooh, I feel a story coming on.
There you are, sitting at lunch, eating your delicious pizza, your tacos, and most importantly, your sushi. When you're finished eating, you take a big swig of that delicious water to wash it all down, wipe your mouth with your napkin, and head off to your next class. You're learning about the American Revolution because you're actually just watching our video series on it. And honestly, you've forgotten all about that pizza and those tacos and that sushi that you just ate. All right, maybe you haven't forgotten about the sushi because I haven't, but still, that food has moved into your stomach. Sort of like a science experiment, things happen in your body all of the time without you even knowing about it.
Your digestive system started working before you even took the first bite of your lunch.
And the digestive system will be super busy dealing with your chewed up lunch for the next few hours or even days, depending on what you have eaten.
Yeah, so let's find out what's happening to that pizza, taco, sushi, and water.
And as we do this, let's draw a picture model and label the structures in our body that help us to digest our food. So you're gonna need a piece of paper and something to write with. And are you guys ready?
Ready?
Can I be a judge instead of a drawer?
Sure, you can judge mine.
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
I'm gonna play towards my
Let's go. Even before you ate all of that yummy, delicious, and tasty food, your body already started working.
When you smell, see, or think about food, digestion actually begins right then.
Saliva or spit begins to form in your mouth, and the body is getting primed.
When you do eat, the saliva breaks down the food.
Yep, it breaks down the chemicals that are in the food a little bit, which helps make the yummy food mushy and easy to swallow. Your tongue also helps you out a lot by pushing the food around while you're chewing with your teeth. So, what's the first thing we need to draw?
A mouth. Danielle will draw a side view of the head and then the mouth. Don't forget to label it.
All right, and we need to think of some way to represent the saliva. So how are we going to do that, do you think?
I think we should do a little like raindrops in the mouth and then label it saliva.
You also need to draw some teeth in there and maybe even a tongue because these structures also help us out at the very beginning.
All right, so let me start a screen share of kind of what our model will be looking like, hopefully. And so that way you can kind of see what we are talking about as we're going along. So now we're drawing the head, the mouth, the tongue, the teeth, and the saliva, making sure that we have everything labeled because I messed up by not labeling one thing last time, so.
And it took big points off of your score.
That's right. I can't have that happen again.
How do you spell saliva?
Karosh is our judge.
But how do you spell saliva?
S-A-L.
S-A-L.
I-V-A.
I-V-A. Beautiful.
All right, and I'm gonna label some extra things just so you can tell what these things are around here, so I ain't getting no points taken off.
Yeah, not worth the risk.
Well, if you
Right.
label extra things, if you label too much, you might get points taken off for crowdation, having it too crowded.
Oh.
With me.
Just
All right. When you're ready to swallow this food that you've chewed up, the tongue pushes a tiny bit of that mushed up food toward the back of your throat. This mushed up food is called a bolus, and it goes into the opening of your esophagus.
the esophagus is the second part of the digestive tract. So you guys need to draw that now. This should be a tube down from the back of your mouth to your stomach. Boing. Okay, so they're drawing that right now.
All right, drawing the esophagus. The esophagus is like a stretchy pipe that's about 10 inches long. It moves food from the back of your throat to your stomach. Now, if you watched our other video on respiration, there is also your windpipe. That's in the back of your throat. This windpipe allows air to come in and out of your body. So how does the food not go down the windpipe?
That is called the epiglottis. It's a flap that flops down over the opening of the windpipe to make sure the food enters into the esophagus.
Yeah, I have had a bad experience with the epiglottis not working quite quickly enough. And you probably have too. You know when you drink water or just anything really fast and you start to cough and then you finally recover and then you say, it went down the wrong pipe? Well, that means it went down your windpipe because your epiglottis didn't have enough time to do its flopping action. And you're coughing to clear your windpipe.
Yep. And once the food actually enters into the esophagus, so we're going down the right tube this time, it doesn't just drop all the way down right into your stomach because of gravity. Instead, muscles in the walls of the esophagus move in a wavy way to slowly squeeze the food down through the esophagus. This is called peristalsis, and it takes about 2 to 3 seconds.
Your stomach is attached to the end of the esophagus. It's basically a stretchy stack shape, like the J, like the letter J.
Ah, so you're saying it's shaped like the letter J.
Yeah.
Gotcha. It has 3 important jobs. Do you guys know what they are?
Yeah, I know number 1. The first important job is to store your food you've eaten. All of that yummy, yummy food.
Number 2 is the one I know, to break down the food into a liquidy mixture.
And number 3, to slowly empty that liquidy mixture into the small intestine.
Yes. The stomach is like a mixer. It churns and mashes together all the small balls of food that come down the esophagus into the smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller pieces.
It does this with the help of the strong muscles in the walls of the stomach and the gastric juices that come from the stomach walls.
Those gastric juices are also helpful to kill the bacteria that might be in the food we ate.
Now, onward to the small intestine we go.
Wait, we need to, you guys need to draw your J-shaped stomach attached to your esophagus.
You're right. Let's do it.
Mine kind of looks like a pinto bean.
Yeah, mine doesn't really look like a J, but
Mine looks like a jelly bean.
Okay, now onward to the small intestine.
Wait, 22 feet isn't small at all.
Yeah. Yep. Nope, it really isn't. The small intestine is a long tube that's about 1.5 inches to 2 inches around. It's packed really tightly inside of you beneath your stomach.
if you stretched out an adult's small intestine, it would be about 22 feet long. That's like 22 notebooks lined up at end to end, all in a row.
The small intestine breaks down the food mixture even more so that your body can absorb all of the vitamins, minerals, proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. So now we need to draw our small intestines. It should look like coiled up tubes that go back and forth underneath the stomach.
So while you guys draw your intestines, I will give you some information about it. That chicken in your tacos is full of proteins and even a little bit of fat. The small intestine will help to extract those things from that chicken with a little help from 3 organ friends: the pancreas, the liver, and the gallbladder.
These organs send different juices to the first part of the small intestine. These juices help to digest food and allow the body to absorb nutrients coming out of the food.
The pancreas makes juices that help the body to digest fats and proteins.
A juice from the liver called bile helps to absorb fats into the bloodstream.
And the gallbladder serves as a warehouse for bile, storing it until the body needs it.
This is like Mandy's worst nightmare, having to draw things while also tell people about them and being in a competition.
Yes, it's a perfect storm.
All right, so let's give Mandy some time here and draw and label our liver, which you can see right here, this brown one. Our gallbladder, which is tucked right underneath it, and the pancreas, which is this blue structure right behind our stomach. As you can see in our drawing that's shared, you can do your best to draw your liver and gallbladder above the stomach and a little bit to the left in this guy, but you need to have this little green tube that connects it to the pancreas, and then kind of another little green tube here that connects it to this purple small intestine. As you can see, the pancreas is kind of tucked behind our stomach a little bit. So take your time, draw these 3 structures, do the best that you can, because, we're getting judged and all. So,
Whew.
I know, pressure's on.
Pressure is on.
Let me get back to my small intestine here.
Now, how long is the small intestine? Do you know?
Small intestine is so important. Your food may spend as long as 4 hours in the small intestine and will become a very thin, watery mixture.
And that's time well spent, because at the end of the journey, the nutrients from your pizza, your tacos, and your sushi can pass from the intestine into the blood.
And once it's in the blood, your body is closer to benefiting from the complex carbohydrates in the pizza crust, the vitamins in the vegetables on your taco, and the protein in the meat.
The next stop for these nutrients is the liver and the leftover waste, which are the parts of the food that your body can't use. These leftover wastes go into the large intestine.
So let's talk about that liver for a minute. The nutrient-rich blood comes directly to the liver for processing.
The liver filters out harmful substances or waste, turning some of the wastes into more bile.
More bile. The liver even helps figure out how many nutrients will go to the rest of the body and how many will stay behind in storage. For example, the liver stores certain vitamins and a type of sugar your body uses for energy.
Back to the large intestine.
All right, the large intestine, it's about 3 or 4 inches around, and it's fatter than the small intestine. It's almost the last stop on the digestive tract.
Like the small intestine, It is packed into the body and would measure about 5 feet long if you spread it out completely, which is kind of funny because the small intestine is more than 4 times longer than the large intestine, but it's considered the small intestine because the tube is just so small and the large intestine's tube is just so thick.
That's right. The large intestine has a tiny tube with a closed end coming off of it called the appendix, and you can see that little guy hanging right here. The appendix is part of the digestive tract, but as far as doctors know, it doesn't really seem to do anything.
It can, however, cause big problems because sometimes it gets infected and needs to be removed. You definitely don't want your appendix to burst.
Let's draw our large intestine and the appendix. You can see that the large intestine is thicker and goes around the small intestine, almost like a border. That I already forgot how to say it. The
appendix.
Appendix.
The appendix is this little itty bitty thing that sticks off the large intestine. Let's get to drawing, and don't forget to label.
So I think I'm getting my labels. I think I got them.
So when I am judging, I've decided I'm going to do it on a 1 to 100 scale. And I will be judging color, shading,
color,
details, labels, accuracy, location on the body, and the body itself.
I only have green.
I wish I would have known these judging criteria beforehand.
You probably also would have wished that you knew who was the judge beforehand.
Yes.
You'd know what to add.
I've added a few things that I think you'll appreciate, but we'll see.
Trying to persuade the judge might take points off of your score.
I'm not trying to do too much drama.
Okay. Well, you told us before what moves into the large intestine is the waste. The nutrients have been absorbed by the rest of the body to the best of its ability. So now we just have the stuff your body can't use. This stuff goes bye-bye. You can guess where it ends up. Well, here's a hint. It goes swimming and out with a flush.
And before it goes out with a flush, it passes through the part of the large intestine called the colon. The colon is where the body gets its last chance to absorb the water and some minerals into the blood. As the water leaves the waste product, what's left gets harder and harder and harder, and it just keeps moving along. Then it becomes a solid because all of that water gets removed, hopefully.
Let's label the right side of our large intestine, the colon.
Well, we all know what happens if the water doesn't get removed from it, right? It's not a fun experience.
And you know what that hard stuff is? Yep, it's poop.
Mm-hmm.
Also called the stool or bowel movement.
Yeah.
The large intestine pushes the poop into the rectum, which is the very last stop on the digestive tract.
The solid waste stays in the rectum, again, hopefully, until you're ready to go to the bathroom. Hopefully. When you finally do the doo-doo, you're getting rid of this solid waste by pushing it through the anus, and that's the flush we're talking about.
And with that, we need to draw and label the rectum, and we are done with our model drawing.
Woo! I think I got a good one.
Some mistakes were made on my part early on, and they've been hard to recover. I'm going to be honest about that.
I actually think mine's pretty good. I'm sorry, guys. Competition.
So, now that we are
done.
Mandy.
With our drawings.
Great, you want to retry that? That never happened. Now that we are
done
with our drawings,
let's show them off.
Okay, I'll pick, so stop screen sharing.
Okay.
Pencils down, no extra details. You can't change based on what
I'm not putting my pencil down.
Okay, so let's go with Danielle, you're first. Okay.
Okay, this is Susie, the sushi eating queen.
Ooh.
Say hi, Susie.
Hi, Susie.
She kind of got a bad haircut during quarantine because she did it herself. But other than that, you know, she's looking pretty good. She's got her lips and her teeth and her mouth and her raindrop saliva coming from her salivary glands that are all going into, and her tongue. She's sticking it out for you so you can see it. You know, see her tongue? But, okay, and then we have our esophagus down to our stomach, which is over our little pancreas here. And then we've got our liver and our little gallbladder connected to our pancreas, but also connected over here to our little small intestine tube, which wiggles 22 feet in here. Yeah, I measured it out precisely. That's 22 feet of small intestine inside adult Susie's body, all with sushi and pizza and tacos right now. And then we start with our large intestine, and we have our little appendix. Put your pencil down. I see you, Missy. And it goes around our large around our large intestine to our colon, which is the last part, and it comes over here to our rectum, and then it goes bye-bye. And I wish I could have added bye-bye to it. I wish I would have thought of that before, but I didn't. But that's Susie.
So I like to think I'm a fair judge. You know, I don't see the glass as half empty. I see the glass as half full.
Nice.
So I always start everyone with, instead of at 0 points working their way up, I start them at 100 points, working them just a little down. So from 100 points, this is a really good drawing. And there are a lot of extra details. I like the sushi in there, you know, but it's not connected with a thought bubble. Everything is accurately labeled. So currently you're still at a 100, but I'm going to take some points off because there's a little extra labeling, like the salivary glands or whatever.
You talked about
and
those.
No one likes a brag. So you're getting a 97.
I'll take it. I will take it. I'll take it.
Though the score can move because that's like my first score based on not having seen anybody else's. I might change yours around after seeing theirs. Okay. Now I will go with, wait, Danielle, I'll let you pick who I see next.
Let's go with Mandana.
Yes.
Okay, she doesn't want to do it. Mandy.
All right. All right. So there's a few things I'd like to say before I get started. And number one, I feel a little bit scared that I am following Susie because that was very good. There are a few things that I wish I could add to my guide. He actually doesn't have a name, and I was trying to create his persona in my mind. Didn't quite have time for that because I was really trying to get things anatomically correct. So I hope that's considered in the judging. All right, so here he is. We've got his mouth, which has his tongue and his teeth. We've got the saliva, along with that, what is it? The salivary gland, which we did talk a little bit about. Okay, and then we've got the esophagus, which is spelled the two different ways. If you'll notice on our model, it was spelled different than it is, you know, in standard language, because this is standard English. Why?
Yeah, it's like the British translation of it.
I thought it was something like that. Okay, so down the esophagus, and then we've got our liver, we've got our stomach, and inside the stomach, this is a lot of attention to detail here, but you're going to notice that we spoke that there was sushi and pizza being eaten. So I have put those inside with extra detail on the sushi because we know that that's a favorite. That's a fan favorite. Now we've got the pancreas and the large intestine as well as the small intestine, which is winding inside here. And then our gallbladder, can't forget that. And did I already mention our pancreas? And then our rectum. Okay, so we've got all the parts labeled, and this is my guy with no name.
Okay.
That was really good.
So personality isn't that much of an important thing.
Okay.
Now, also, presentation is a very important thing. Now, Danielle, the whole time, had her paper in front of the screen. She used a pencil to point to everything and knew what she was saying. Now, Mandy, there were many times when you had to flip it, and for the second half, when you realized flipping was inefficient, you did mostly your face while holding half of the page off the screen.
Oh.
So from 100, there will be some points off for that. I will also take some points off for the little scribble as the small intestine instead of a small intestine. But I do appreciate that this person isn't just a floating upper half of a body.
Mm-hmm.
This person has legs. And this person also is strong as for the wide shoulders. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think I will give this.
And don't forget that she had pizza and sushi in the stomach. That was like my favorite part. Where are your tacos?
I think just for that, I'm going to have to actually give you a 97, and Danielle, you're a 96.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, no. Now for yours.
Although she didn't label, I will say, the colon, and that was one of the parts that needed to be labeled.
Wait, we went over the colon in the document? Oh, we did.
That is true. I did miss that one. And that's why when you were talking, I was like, colon, but I didn't put it in.
So I consider myself a fair judge, and I love extra credit, as long as it's not bragging extra credit, Danielle. But
how is that bragging? That's just following rules.
I do also need you to, as Danielle said, follow the rules. Now, extra credit is good, but you don't get extra credit before you've finished the task at hand.
You're right.
And since you haven't finished the task at hand, that is a 89.
How did I lose that many points?
Hashtag life lessons.
You have to do
rolled
your
out to the teachers right now. Woo!
Yeah. Okay. It's fair.
Like, let's say you have a piece of sushi.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's sauced. It's everything. Like they do so much extra. Like this seasoning, that seasoning, this sauce, that sauce. But they forget the salmon.
Oh.
Is it still the sushi?
It's not.
Even all this extra credit, it means nothing.
It's a good point.
Okay, Manana, your turn.
No.
That's okay. She doesn't want to share. Right.
All right. Thank you, Karosh. You can help your digestive system by drinking water, eating a healthy diet that includes food that's rich in fiber.
Yes, Mandana, did you want to say something?
I will give you a sneak peek of the head because that is my favorite part.
Okay. I love that it's got duck lips. I like it.
That is good.
Mandana, can you tell us about some of the high fiber foods and examples of those?
Yes, I can. High fiber foods like fruits, vegetables, and whole grains make it easier for poop to pass through your system.
Poop. The digestive system is a pretty important part.
Mandy, you look truly disgusted.
Yeah, I don't like to think about it. Just wait till tomorrow. I know. I might vomit, but we'll see what happens.
We'll catch it on camera, people.
Ooh, tune in. Tune in for that. Without it, you couldn't get the nutrients you need to grow properly and stay healthy.
So next time you sit down to eat your lunch, you'll know how your food goes from bye-bye, bye.
Bye.
Oh.